I know no one asked, but I wrote this article. You can see my name because marketers don't get Gen Z. This article talks about what brands needs to know about Gen Z when it comes to marketing. This is all backed by data. Let's get into it. Oh, such a boomer thing to do. Because I know brands are lazy, my first point was that everyone is talking about Gen Z loving long form content now, short form is over. My first point is it isn't over. Gen Z always consumed long form content. It's all about they have more options, and everything brand needs to do is focus on playtime overviews. Don't focus on awareness, actually focus on your purpose and how you might consider Gen Z watching your content. Second thing, I know this is probably going to piss a lot of people off. Gen Z has an internet lurker syndrome problem. It's a problem that they have built a lot of niche interest, and now if you don't cater to them, if you are somehow wrong, they will come attacking you under your video. Oh, I get it, I get it. I'm like this, I'm like this. So if a brand understands the audience and the niche, they can actually go on internet and pick some of the very niche ideas. And Gen Z is just looking out to get heard. They are looking to get their answers, and this is the thing about them. Now a brand can actually pick that trend, and then they and Gen Z will come, oh, this brand gets it. And that's how they actually root for the brands, because they have such niche interest that if a brand actually cares enough to portray and show those interests, they actually engage in comments more. That's internet lurker syndrome that every brand needs to understand. That's the second point. You need to understand that. Take a screenshot if you want. This is the main strategy. I have the hooks and the internet lurker syndrome on. Yeah. Third point, influencer culture means nothing to Gen Z. They are kind of over it. Some of them like influencers, some of them don't. Now, the only factor to make your influencer ad work is actually being creative. Nothing else will work. I can say that for sure. This is a long one that Gen Z have two types of trends. One of them are cult driven, like capitalism driven trends, and then there is culture driven trends that are very unique to them. You can read this whole section in one of my other posts. I can link it below. If Gen Z is buying you, I think you should highlight that. This is a great marketing strategy, like Spotify Wrapped. Everyone listens to songs, and Gen Z is probably listening to that, and now it's a personality trait and they are showing it. And Spotify did the smart thing to showcase that usage in numbers, and Gen Z shared that. And this is like a cultural thing now. And if brands that have like people buying, Gen Zers buying their product, highlight that they are a regular customer and you care about them, and they are using your products frequently, and they are a part of certain group. Like, hey, you bought the product 4 times a week, you bought the toothpaste 5 times a year, and you match with these customers. These they are just like you, and by doing that you put them in a community. You are building a natural community, and they might engage with each other more. So highlight the usage, because we are using the stuff pretty heavily. We are in a system of hyper consumerism. One of the main things I have learned, and I am also Gen Z for context. I'm a Gen Z marketer. So Instagram stories are more important than posts, because Instagram stories are a place where no one expects a brand to do actually something of value. I don't even expect creators to share something of value in stories. And I love the creators that do that, that share a much bigger picture in their stories, and that's really good. Everyone should do that, especially now when the home feed isn't personal at all. It's filled with so much ads, so much algorithm recommended content. You need to put stories as a main part of your strategy. That's my point. Simple thing. A study shows that Gen Z talks openly about their drinking habits, and if you do that, you are unlikely to drink. If you know your friends don't drink, you will also not drink. And Gen Z is like that. And the study shows that. I knew that. And based on that, a brand should rethink their product, food, or snack placements. Make sure you place them near alcohol free drinks. Uh, yeah, you should know your consumers, and these consumers, Gen Z consumers, are different. Let's go through these quick stats. Gen Z wants less sex scenes on screen and movies, so don't do that. Don't sexualize the content heavily on in your ads. They like to talk through messages and DMs, so represent that, not uh, grandma picking up a call. That's not what you should be representing in ads. Also, most of the Gen Zers don't want toxic workplace behavior and they will quit their jobs over it. So, that representation, that highlighting that you have a good culture is also important. And they like the brands that experiment a lot, and they choose to buy new products that are kind of experimental, like DTC brands launching new flavors, and Gen Z are likely to try that if it's on the shelf. So be more experimental, be more creative. That's what you need to do. Now, everything before was backed by data, and now this is kind of my personal takes. Please remind Gen Z of visiting your Instagram or TikTok captions. Sometimes they ignore that. I have experienced that under my videos. Please do that. The second one is make sure you share as much as social proof you can. That's another one. Gen Z really feels like brands are falling behind and they don't create culture anymore like they used to. Like print advertising was a huge part of Gen Z and millennials. They had the posters in the home. So yeah, focus on that. And food and health means more to Gen Z. It's more like they glamorize these activities through different apps, through different type of content sharing. So brands are really at benefit in some ways. So try to capture that in your content. Yeah, sometimes they don't communicate well in some scenarios, so respect that. And even though it's done to the death, terms like Alex Earl was wearing this, I bought it and let's try it. Uh, TikTok made me buy this. These intros still work to some extent if you do them right. I think it's more of a creator thing if a creator does that really well. If they are a good storyteller like Ray William Johnson, I hope I pronounced his name right, then you might get away with it. And the last thing, Gen Z luxury seems like it's more about integration, how you can integrate it, less about exclusivity. And the last, interactive gaming marketing works. Candy Crush is doing great with Gen Z, running ads that are quite interactive. That also works. I wrote a really long article. Please do read it. That's my last thing to do. Do read it. It's on my Substack. You can read it. I have all the receipts and checks for why I said it, why there was something like this. I tried my best. So, yeah, back to text post. Let me know if you want more of this me speaking content. Please do.